Hi everyone. Today I recorded an episode for the Tea with Intuitives podcast and I talked about how our different soul types can act or react to different situations in the holidays. How can we spot our different soul types during a family or a friends gathering? And so it's part of the episode. I'm also sharing personal stuff in that episode and I'm sharing a ghost story. So here for this video, I decided just to share on my Melly Guidance channel, just to share the part about different soul types during the holidays because I felt like giving you a holiday video. But if you're curious to get all the other stuff that is shared in the podcast, you can check it out at Tea with Intuitives. I'm going to leave the link in the show notes. And now let's make some way for the video. Soul types and how they act and react during the holidays. So, in case you don't know what a soul type is, in case you never worked with me, so I work with Ainsley McLeod's Spirit Guides structure. So, this is a structure I was working with before becoming a psychic. I was very familiar with it. And then when I became a psychic, I asked my spirit guides if they were okay with me using the same structure because it was so familiar to me. And they agreed, and they do, but it's funny because sometimes they use different words, but it all in all it comes back to all the same thing. And also, by the way, I did get readings from Ainsley McLeod. I got 4 readings from him. If you don't know him, he's pretty well known right now because he's been on Oprah and Ellen. He's written books, so he's a past life psychic. That's his specialty. And after I read his book, that's really what prompted me to go and contact my spirit guides. Never thought I would myself become a past life psychic. It was not the goal. I just wanted that connection. But yeah, that's what happened. So there are 10 soul types. And depending on your soul type, you're going to view the world through a different lens. And you're going to have it's pretty much your soul type is pretty much your personality, but you don't just have one. You have a main soul type, and then you have other soul types that might be quote unquote less dominant, but there's always a soul type that comes help on the front burner depending on what we're going through. For example, when I was a student in college and university, the thinker soul type was very much on the front burner with me. I really needed that thirst for intellect and knowledge. And so my main soul type is the spiritualist soul type, which is always there looking for deep meaning. So that's always there with me. But so depending on what you're going through, different soul types come on the front burner. So all in all, there are 10 soul types, and you can have easily 6, 7, or 8 soul types, and you kind of have that in the mix, making your personality. I'm going to list the soul types for you, and then we're going to go one by one, and I'll tell you what kind of person you can be during the holidays with these soul types. So you have the spiritualist soul type, the creator soul type, you have the performer soul type, the thinker, the caregiver. That one, my spirit guides often call it the healer soul type. You have the helper, the educator, the hunter soul type, and the transformer soul type. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the spiritualist soul type because I would say 95 to 98% of old souls and of my clients have the spiritualist soul type as their main soul type. And when you have this soul type, you really want to work hard on personal development. Spirituality is at the forefront. You want things to have deep meaning in your life. And oftentimes you can get very frustrated when things don't have any meaning and it's not going anywhere. And spiritualist soul type have this connection with the spirit world. So if you have a spiritualist soul type, or if your spiritualist soul type is at the forefront during the holidays, you'll really want the holidays to have meaning. So you could be the person around the dinner table at Christmas with friends or family who's going to ask, okay, so I'd like everyone to say one or two things that they are grateful for. Or you might like to reflect on the growth that you have. And you might want to share what you would like for you and for the world for 2024. So oftentimes spiritualists have a heart chakra that has a tendency to be very much open. Not always, because we've gone through a lot of trauma when we're old souls, but that happens a lot. So yeah, and also you might like to have your own little tradition. So even though you might have been born in a religion, you might still like the religion tradition that you've grown up with, even though you might not be religious anymore. So you might still keep that, but you might like to create your own. Because as I said, everything needs to have a meaning. So you might want to have your own little tradition that resonates for you and for your situation and for your family. Okay, so moving on, I want to tackle the creator soul type. Creator soul types, I mean, they are creative. You can be someone who's very much into painting. It can be music, arts and craft. It can be through food. So if you're a big creator soul type and you like cooking, you are thriving during the holidays because you like to make, those kind of, I think it's taking broccoli and making a broccoli Christmas tree on a plate. So you're using broccolis and you're using cherry tomatoes half cut to do the little Christmas ornaments in the tree. So you might be very much into that. So either you really like to cook and to bake, or not really, but you're more like arts and craft and you're having fun. It's very creative. You might be the person who likes to decorate, who likes to have a theme for everyone. You might very well be a hypersensitive person when you have the creator soul type, because creator soul types, they have this connection to the invisible world, and to have that connection you need to be very sensitive to the unseen. The unseen is also everything that is nonverbal. And so in gatherings, you might be very sensitive to other people's energy. You might be able to spot very easily someone who isn't feeling good, who doesn't have their needs met. And so creator soul types need to be very, very careful with their energies, very careful not to absorb other people's energy. So at the end of an evening with the whole family, you might want to do, imagine a cord that is linking you to all these people and just saying, okay, I am cutting all these cords and I am letting all their energies leave with them. I like just to close my eyes, imagine, and go like this. Now, yeah, a lot of you are not listening on YouTube, so if you're listening, it's like I just take my two hands and imagine I'm cutting two cords and then moving everything away as if you're moving dust, moving all the energies that don't belong to you. So, protecting yourself energetically is very important when you are a creator soul type. And if you have a talent for empathy, I mean, for sure, you are a hypersensitive person, which is great, but family gatherings can be a little tricky. Okay, So, moving on, which one do I want to do next? I'll do the performer soul type. Performer soul type, you might be the life of the party. Performer soul types need an audience. And so, I mean, you might very well be the one that is making jokes. You might be the one who's going, hey, let's play a game. Let's play a mime game or a guessing game just to have fun. If you have the creator performer soul type, you might have created a playlist, music playlist for the evening, and at some point you just get up and you want to dance because you're just tired of be sitting around the table not doing much. If you have the performer and hunter soul type, you definitely are someone who will want to do that. So hunter soul type, let me explain if you don't know what it is. It doesn't mean that you went out and hunt a turkey before making dinner. Although, I mean, I guess maybe some hunter soul types want to do that. So the hunter soul type, you need to keep in mind that these soul types were created when the humans first got consciousness. And in those days, we were in small tribes. And yes, we had the hunters in the tribe, and they had to go out and hunt the animals to get the protein to feed ourselves. Nowadays, the hunter soul types are people who are very energetic, goal oriented, and a lot of them like sports. They like to move, they need to move their energies. Some of them like outdoorsy stuff or camping, but not all the hunter soul types, because I have the hunter in my soul types and not into, too high energy sports or camping. But yeah, definitely, if you have the performer and the hunter, with your hunter soul type, you're like, okay, I cannot sit at that table for 2 hours straight. I need to move. You might be the one who suggests after a meal, hey, before dessert, why don't we go all and take a walk outside and see the beautiful Christmas light and decorations in the neighborhood? So that can very much be you if you have the hunter soul type. Okay, now the helper soul type. There is an example that I often give my clients when I do life plan readings and I see that they have the helper soul type. It's that if you are at a dinner table, a family gathering, and you see that people are starting to finish their meal, you don't wait to be asked anything. You just get up and ask people, are you done? And you take the plates and you start washing the dishes. And you're not even the host, but it's a reflex for you. Helper soul types have the reflex to help, other people. So that's just in you. You want to give your help. If you are a caregiver soul type, and you might also have the helper caregiver soul type there. Caregivers are very, very nurturing. They have a lot of empathy, and you might very well spend your Christmas Eve or Christmas evening in helping a shelter, helping maybe homeless people, or giving out meals, or giving out Christmas baskets to people who have less money. So it's kind of a way for you to give back, to making sure that everyone feels good and feels heard and feels comfortable during this night, and you feel like your contribution lies there. So a lot of caregivers will bring their help. Either it can be on Christmas night, or just before giving out Christmas baskets, or after, but very much involved in the community. Now, the educator soul type, my spirit guides also call it the teacher soul types. Around a table during a gathering, you might have done some research on Christmas traditions, or maybe something is going on in the world and you made some research on, if there is a war going on, and unfortunately there are wars going on. this year. And so you might have done some research on historically why this is happening. And if you have the spiritualist soul type, you are very much heart center. So you might want to give a speech and explain why it's happening and explain why we need as people to learn from our mistakes, as nation, as countries, and how we need to be better. So the performer needs an audience, the teacher needs to impart knowledge, needs people to impart knowledge to. And when there is a gathering, it's like, oh my God, I can do this. So anything you learned recently, you might want to share, or you might just have watched a documentary and you want to talk about it because it was really, really good, and you want to impart that knowledge to people that you know that they don't have the educator's soul type, and they would benefit just to have that knowledge. And not everyone likes to learn through books and documentaries. And luckily, we have teacher soul types, and they will just pass on the knowledge like that. So there's the educator soul type. There's also the thinker soul type. Oftentimes, we have educator, thinker soul type going, hand in hand together. So thinker soul type is all about getting knowledge, feeling like you are so much more and so much a better person with all the knowledge that you have. And if you don't have the educator, soul type, you might not feel drawn on sharing it. But yeah, during the holidays, you might just share a book that you read, or you might give books to other people that you feel that they would like as well, and that they need to have their knowledge. So if you don't have the educator, it's more like having that within you, and not imposing it, not communicating it to others, but you have that passion. So you might want to pass it on to others through gift. What soul type did I not talk about? Performer, hunter. Oh, the leader soul type. Leader soul types, very often they're going to be the ones who talk about Christmas first. So it might be November, and in November they're like, okay, who's going to have all the family over? Or very often they're like, okay, I'm having everyone over, because they're the leader and they have to have their little tribe. So they will organize everything, how it's going to go, at what time. And during the family gathering, they might go, okay, so now we're at the part where we're going to start with fun games, and then we're going to drink some punch, and then the kids are going to open 2 gifts first, and then we're going to have supper, and then the rest of the gifts to the children. And if there's a Santa Claus, okay, they're going to deal with at what time is Santa Claus coming? Will Santa Claus come from the street, and then the children will watch through the window, and then he's going to enter from that door because it's wider, they're going to lead the way a lot. So lots of energy with the leaders. If you have a mix of leader, hunter, energy is through the roof. And now we have the transformer soul type. This is a very, very rare soul type to have. It's when you really want to bring a tangible transformation to the whole world. So we have different life missions, and when I'm channeling, I'm getting that some people have life missions that are more on an one-on-one level with other people. And sometimes we have that with coaches who work one-on-one. And sometimes it's more on a very small community level. And then it might be more on a national level. And then we have international, worldwide. And when it's worldwide, it can happen with transformers. But once again, they are very, very, very rare. For example, Nelson Mandela is a transformer soul type. Oftentimes, these people put their life at risk for what they believe in because they want to bring change. So they need to rock the boat and be against the political leaders of their times. Nowadays, we have a lot of quasi transformers, so kind of half transformers, because a lot of souls are, when they are planning their lives, so when they are making their life plans for their next incarnations, they're thinking, okay, I really want to bring some change, and it's dearly needed because we currently have an imbalance. We have too many young souls versus old souls. And that's contributing to, the planet's not doing well, a lot of wars. So it's been going on for over a century. So there's an imbalance that the spirit guides are working on. But because of that imbalance, spirits that are finishing their level 10, they know it will probably be their last incarnation, that they want to go out with a bang. They're thinking, maybe I don't want to put my life at risks, because if I get to live longer and to advocate longer, then I can make a more important change. So nowadays, as a quasi-transformer, the one that comes to my mind is Greta Thunberg. She's a quasi-transformer. So, just giving you the name, you get it. It's advocating for what's right, for the needed change, for what's best for everyone in the world. So you're not thinking in an individualistic way. It's very altruistic. It's not me, me, me. It's we as not a nation, as people of the world, of the planet. This is what we need. So if you have the quasi-transformer in your soul types, you might very well be talking about social causes around the table at supper, and you might also very well be engaged in manifestations over the holidays, or any kind of community social work that you can do to help, especially the quasi-transformers that are really, really busy with work and now they get time off during the holidays. They are so focused on changing the world because most of them are probably living their last incarnations, right? We never know until we die and we go back to the astral plane and we do our life reviews, but it's like, oftentimes it's like 90% sure that it's going to go well and it's your last incarnation. So since it's their last incarnation, they really want to bring change as much as they can. So even though it's the holidays, and they might not be working at their jobs, but they're still very much active in all kinds of community social activities, to bring more awareness to different causes. So there you go. I hope that you enjoyed this deep dive into, well, not super deep dive into soul types, but soul types during the holidays. If you're curious to know more about soul types, if you're curious to know what your soul type is, so what you can do is you can go check out Ainsley MacLeod's website. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. He has a quiz, and the quiz it's not 100% accurate, but in my case, before I had my reading with Ainsley, it was like 95% accurate, I think. And there were some little changes, subtleties that I didn't get. So first reading I had with Ainsley, I asked about my soul types because I wasn't working as a psychic yet. I wasn't realizing I was psychic yet when I had my first reading with Ainsley. Since then, things have changed, so you can go and do the quiz. Of course, Ainsley MacLeod offers reading where he can tell you your soul type, but he's very, very busy. And it's oftentimes taking 6 to 12 months to get a reading with him. You can also check out my schedule. I do tell you what your soul type is when you get a life plan reading. So the life plan reading is where I take a look at everything that your soul decided when they made your life plan. So your soul age, your soul type, your life missions. I'm blanking here, but you can check it out if you're interested. So there's a way of knowing which soul type you are, but just by listening to this podcast and having me explaining how you can act and react during the holidays depending on your soul type, I'm pretty sure that you went, oh yes, that is so me. That is so me. So you get, kind of a glimpse at what your soul types can be. So there you go. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and I'll see you in 2024. Bye.